We're live, everyone. Over to you, Charles.
Hello, everybody. My name is Charles Appleby. Thank you so much for joining us today for our very special first broadcast from Brazil. So we've got Sienna. Sienna Bassi is actually in COP30 now, and she's going to be talking to us with an amazing update about what she's seen, what she's done, which is really, really pretty amazing. Okay, so a very big welcome to everybody, and particularly to those who've been with us before. So like my friend Martin Earl, who's just arrived. To those who are new, and to any guests we may have from Healing Our Earth. So thank you so much for that. So everybody's aware this webinar is a partnership between IAHV UK, Fly Greener, the international NGO Saving Our Planet. And this is the 5th year we've been doing these webinars. And big thank you here to Gary. So Gary Kasulu of Loving Social Media makes it all possible with the tech. So thank you, Gary, for all of that.
You're very welcome.
So please take a look at my background. Okay, so what we've got here, we've got this message here. I hope everybody's aware of this. It's our world. This is our world. We're here, and so are the folks in Belém and Brazil. But it's heading for 2.6 degrees of global warming. This is what the experts are saying in Belém now. Now, what this means is that the target was always 1.5. People have fairly well given up on 1.5. Maybe we can achieve limiting global warming to 2 degrees. But 2.6 degrees is a catastrophe. So what this is about what's really important. We've already lost the coral reefs, and that's not just the holiday destinations, that's the coral reefs, which are about people's livelihoods of fish and living there, etc. We're at risk of losing the ice sheets. And so what these ice sheets is so important is that once we start doing this, then we're heading for sea level rise. And sea level rise is not just a few inches. Sea level rise from these sheets could be in meters. We're talking about meters of sea level rise, which affects major cities. It affects countries like Bangladesh, and of course it affects the small island states. Okay, so luckily one of them, I forget which one, but one of the small island states has been offered land, I think, in Australia instead. So very generous of Australia to help them out if they do lose their land. Okay, so what this is all about, it's hearing from the amazing Sienna, who's there in COP30 now. So Sienna, start off please by giving us an intro. Give us an overview of really what you've been doing, what's going on, what's happening. Tell us all about the amazing energy you're finding over there.
Yeah, so I've been at COP30 since Monday. Today is day 4. The theme is health, justice, and human rights, and also education. Lots of things are going on here. There are negotiation rooms where you have different parties actually editing and discussing battles within different texts. There are pavilions, which are really exciting, and I didn't know too much about before. I'll show you them later. Many countries have pavilions, like the UK has one, India has one, the Global Renewable Alliance have one. Either you're a country or you're some sort of alliance or organization, and each pavilion has different side events, and also like tell you a bit about what the country are doing. And there are also like special room meetings where things on the side happen that aren't direct negotiations, but are like important meetings. For example, I was at a Commonwealth one yesterday on mobilizing the 1.3 trillion per year goal. So a lot is going on. It's very hard not to go to everything. Yeah. In terms of energy, I've been pleasantly surprised from what I've seen at least. Like no one here is saying maybe let's slow down. Everyone is pushing for more, and everyone knows we're not scaling fast enough. There are apparently a few fossil fuel lobbyists here. I was at a meeting, a talk by Al Gore, the former vice president, like just an hour ago. And he was saying how one of the biggest concerns and the biggest threats to this conference are the lobbyists from fossil fuel companies trying to impact those negotiations. So we are keenly on the lookout, and any sweeping statements I see, been trying to challenge them or speak to the speakers after as much as I can. So everybody is feeling the energy and we're trying to deliver on sparking action. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So if when you come back to speak, if you could speak just a little bit slower and clearer, that'd be helpful
Sorry,
for the
I will do
recording.
this.
No worries, no worries, enthusiasm.
Too excited, too
And we can
excited.
Yeah,
tell
Too
your
so
much
enthusiasm,
happening.
yes.
Too
we'll
much
just give you a
happening.
break for a minute. Apologies, I did mean to introduce Muskan. So Muskan, a colleague of Sienna, Muskan is flying literally tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to Brazil on the 12-hour flight to get there. So she will be there next week and be running this same webinar, obviously different content, next week. Right. So Muskan, you'd like to give us a few words?
Hey, thank you, Charles. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We're very pleased that you are here today. I'm Muskan Banatwala, and just like Sienna and everybody here, we represent IHV, Fly Greener, and Saving Our Planet. And our goal in Brazil is very simple. We want integrated solutions. We have integrated solutions, and we want to showcase them now, and we want you to hear about them now, and so we can take action as we need it in the present.
Wow.
It's an honor to be a part of this environment, and Sienna will be telling us some very exciting stuff about on-the-ground updates and everything that's been happening at COP. We connect mental health, human values, and climate resilience, three topics that are so interconnected and so interrelated that they need integrated solutions. And I keep emphasizing this because that is what we want to do, and that is what is most important here. Anyway, over to you, Sienna.
Well, let's ask you to come back and tell us a bit more about that later, Muskan. And then I'll ask a bit later on, I'll ask Shailen to give us an intro from his perspective. But for now, let's come back to Sienna. So Sienna, come back to you and tell us about some of the things that you've been doing and what you've been finding out.
Yeah, so I've been following a few negotiations, the main one being the Article 6.2 dialogues. The Article 6.2 is basically on bilateral trading of carbon credits. I remember Shaylin actually mentioned this, I think, 2 years ago. So it's still a current theme. Interestingly, at one of the meetings, I think the party from India actually said, I can't believe we're still having these dialogues. Please, let's just implement everything now. So this is supposed to be the COP of implementation. Everyone is trying to move through these because every time someone tries to update it slightly, more negotiations have to come through. And there's only like 2 dialogues a year. So progress needs to be made faster and people are trying to move towards practical solutions. So at the second dialogue that I went to, it was implementation focused. And we had someone from the Amazon Alliance come and give a step-by-step, like, kind of roadmap of how to implement this article with the example of Honduras and how they've successfully done that. So tangible solutions are now coming through. Also, this is just the first week, so ambition is the main thing. Next week, all the decisions come together. Apparently, the time pressure really does help. So that's Article 6. Another thing I've been following is the Just Transition movement, which basically is transitioning to a more sustainable society, not just in energy, but in adaptation, in cities, in every context. And a big thing is developed countries helping developing nations. And I'm pleasant to say, I'm happy to report that a lot of the developed nations are speaking up and giving their, affirming that they are here and they are ready to identify challenges and solutions. So people are here and ready to collaborate on that as well, which is super exciting.
Amazing. So do you want to tell us a bit more about you were actually on a panel with the Commonwealth meetings. I thought you were going to be at the meeting. I didn't know you were going to be on the panel. Tell us about what the panel, how that was and how that went.
It was incredibly exciting to be on the panel. The topic was, we were trying to establish how the Commonwealth can put out more initiatives to help youth contribute to and make a difference in the climate crisis and have their voices heard. So I got to highlight the youth leadership training programs that we have in Kenya, Nairobi, in India. In India, I think we've impacted 200,000 people in 40,000 different villages, and in the African countries, over 2,000 people, which is incredibly powerful. And the scope, it goes beyond that impact we always put down. So I got to highlight these programs that we have. They also wanted my personal experience, so how I got involved with IHD. And well, that's someone I was on the panel with, actually. He's just been away from me, which is crazy.
I hope you told them about all the time we spent in Hammersmith drinking coffee and talking about Fly Greener, yeah?
Yes, I got to mention a few of the reforestation things, but the main thing in the panel was sort of youth leadership and putting in the incentives at a higher level to get more youth involved and to give people the opportunity. So I got to speak from my perspective, but in a developed country, and how I had the resources and I had the time to find these opportunities. So it was really a call out for action from other organizations like ours to give other people an opportunity who don't necessarily come in contact with that. Yeah.
Okay. So what would you like to do next? Do you want to do your video tour now, Sienna, or do you want to tell us about something else?
I'm happy to tackle some of the questions that was on our agenda. Yesterday was my investigation day, so I asked a lot of people at different events their opinions on it and what they think.
Okay, so let me put these questions in. So basically, from the news, there are really three big questions that this COP is trying to address. So first of all, Brazil is trying to do things to take action to protect the Amazon rainforest. Now, why is this important? So maybe 25% of the Amazon rainforest has already been lost. And so what this means in terms of nature's balance, it means that it's become unbalanced. It stores about 20 years of the global CO2 emissions. But the future of the Amazon rainforest is incredible, but it actually hangs in balance as to whether it can continue as a rainforest or whether it just becomes savanna. Now, this is caused by a couple of things. It's caused firstly by people cutting it down, and it's caused secondly by the water situation, the water disaster. So, Tina, where are we with this? What messages are you getting about? Is this going to happen? Is there going to be a decision at COP30 to do something about this, or is it going to just be kicked down the road like so many other things have?
Yeah, so Brazil tried to launch the flagship TFFF, which is the Tropical Forest Forever Facility. I've been talking to a few different people on this. Yesterday, I met someone who specializes in ecology and policy. And she was a little worried because we've both been looking through the agenda. We could not find anything on TFFF. And in the negotiations that we've been sitting on, it hasn't been brought up. So from what we're seeing here, there hasn't been a strong mention. And obviously it's worrying that the UK and Germany are not contributing yet. And I know we have to mobilize 125 billion towards this, but right now there are only, well, not I say only, but there are pledges for 5.5 billion, which is still something. So it can seem like there's not too much momentum on this yet. But what I'm seeing is that there are opportunities for collaboration with this and other things. So yesterday I was at a Sharm el-Sheikh meeting where we discussed the joint work program for agroforestry, and there's a lot of sort of momentum in that space. And agroforestry, farming, and forestry, and the Amazon rainforest are so interconnected that I think there's a great opportunity for these two initiatives to come together to sort of bring in more attention to TFFF and protect the rainforest.
Okay. So amazing. So just so people understand, this project is called TFFF. It's a project by the Brazil government. A lot of people from Brazil, either right at the beginning of this year or end of last year, came to London to discuss financial mechanisms. And if you're familiar with this, it's TFFF, it's a sort of bit like Red Plus. It's about protecting the rainforest. It's about paying people to protect the rainforest. And it's a financial means to do that. So if you've got, if you've got sort of $10 billion, then you can make an investment in this. You can make a financial return, so you make some money on your $10 billion investment. You use it to drive loans, and then you can means that you can give some money. So there should be, out of this 125 billion, there should be $4 billion a year to go towards protecting the Amazon rainforest every year on a long-term basis. So in theory, it's a great idea. I mean, I really, really hope it works. As you know, if you've been following what we're doing with Fly Greener, then Fly Greener is about actually removing CO2 emissions by planting more trees on vacant land. And Fly Greener also is about planting agroforestry. It's about planting fruit trees. And this is what has a huge multiplier. Because with this, from the calculations that we've done, every $100 that's donated over the 30-year contract period is actually worth 30 times that. So if you donate $100 to Fly Greener, not only do you fly greener, but you get $3,000 transferred to the community over this time in terms of the value of the fruit for them to eat and to sell. So, Sienna, bit of background there. Back over to you. What next?
I think you wanted to talk about how it looks like carbon emissions are just inevitably rising. How are we going to tackle this, and will these ever stop?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Well, over here, what lots of people are trying to do is update their NDC. This is the nationally determined contributions. As a result of the global stock take. The global stock take takes place every 5 years as a result of the Paris Agreement to analyze how close we are to be on track for our goal of 1.5 degrees. Also, Charles, you mentioned 1.5 being dead, and I also was reading a lot about this beforehand, saying we need to move on, we need to adjust the goal slightly. Surprisingly, a lot of people here are still mentioning 1.5. They're not even questioning how urgent it is, at least to still have that goal in mind, sort of shoot for the stars and at least you'll reach the treetop. And people are saying that it's not just like a thought, it's like life or death. It's survival for a lot of people, especially someone from Jamaica came to speak, and they've been hit by a hurricane which wiped out a third of their GDP and things like that. Like every single point matters. So aiming for 1.5 bill is what we need. Are countries actually doing this? Well, I was at the business pavilion yesterday, and there was a talk on India trying to reach net zero and their goals. I spoke to some of the panelists, and they said what India does a lot of the time is they under-promise and over-deliver. So their goals are very achievable. Net zero by 2070, decarbonizing the steel industry when they're aiming for 2 tons of reduction, 2.2 tons, and they're at 2 tons. And what they said right now, where the responsibility lies in, is actually the sub-national level. The national level, their goals are not ambitious enough, but 46% of sub-national organizations under India were more ambitious than their goal. So that's excellent. The thing here is we can't rely on that, because the companies who need to decarbonize, they will only do it with policy. So while things are happening, and while there are organizations at a lower level who are completely their ambition is there to dramatically reduce emissions, we still need more from the top level.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're telling me I might have got this wrong. But what worried me reading the news is there's a couple of things. One is there's a very good article in the FT today saying that COPs have a reputation for being over-bureaucratic and failing in terms of implementation. So this ties in with what you were saying earlier, Sienna. Secondly, we have this real crisis in terms of what I've read is that a lot of these NDCs should have been completed by countries. It's not like individuals not filing their tax return, but these countries, lots of countries, have not completed their NDCs, which they should have done, which is a bad sign. Now, there was an article by one of the UN top people, Johan Rockström, this week, which I responded to on LinkedIn. He's saying that to achieve 1.7 degrees, not above 1.5, so 1.7, would we need to remove 10 billion tons of CO2 a year. So this inspired me to get out the calculator and do the calculations. And the answer is between 500 billion and 1 trillion more trees. Okay. Now we've got to give the guys a bit of time to plant this. So let's say we do this over 20 years. Okay, let's be realistic. But if you spread it over 20 years, then the cost comes down significantly. It comes down to $50 billion a year. So it's significant, but in terms of global terms, it's very achievable. And this is under 0.05% of global GDP. So this really it should be very achievable. And of course, planting trees is what we're doing. It's what we're all about. It's such a simple solution. It's such a cost-effective solution, and it's such amazing great value. And as part of that 500 billion trees or whatever, if some of those are fruit trees, then that will be taking people directly out of extreme poverty, which is where they are now. Okay, so I hope that will inspire people to think more about what we're doing with Fly It Greener and the amazing multipliers we've got now with the project. So, Sienna, back over to you.
Yes, we can discuss the goal of 1.3 trillion a year, like in terms of contributions. I was at an event yesterday where we talked about trying to mobilize this. Apparently, as you said, like the calculations for us to reach our 1.5 degree goal is we actually need 3 trillion a year. And right now, the prediction is that we'll only get to 470 trillion a year by 2035. 470 billion a year. 470 trillion would be very, very nice. So it's looking a little ambitious. The thing is that the private sector has such a big role in this, and they could really change the game. Today, at the talk by Al Gore, he said that we really, really need to leverage this sector. And I was trying to find out if this sector is interested in it all. And I went to a panel where people from Deutsche Bank were there, people from the Nordic funds were there, and they were saying that the private sector will invest if it seems like a very profitable investment. So there has to be a communication of, if you invest in this, the returns will be great over time, yes, but also, like Muskan was saying, so many things are interconnected to this. So once we invest in this sector, a lot of other industries will do so much better, and money will just multiply, similar to in Fly Greener.
Okay.
So yeah, there's that.
Okay, so let's just check the numbers with you because I did not sure I heard that correctly. Did you say that to get to 1.5 we need $1.4 trillion?
No. I said it's about 3 trillion a year, and that it's projected that we will reach only 472 billion by 2035, according to the Commonwealth.
Right. Okay, so you're the expert on this now. My calculation shows we need only $50 billion a year for 20 years. Okay, so what do you think? Do you have you got some new friends who can talk to you about this and see if this is possible before you leave Bethlehem in a couple of days' time?
Yes, no, I definitely can. But 50 billion, that would just be in terms of reforestation, which is currently agroforestry. I think it's getting less than 10% of the climate action things. I'm talking about all of climate action and everything linked to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
but this 10 gigatons, 10 billion tons of CO2 to be removed could be achieved by this, 500 billion plus trees. That could do. I mean, obviously, it's better if it's done by a combination of things, with everybody working together. And certainly, to plant as many as 500 billion trees is going to require a lot of people coordinating and cooperating to achieve that.
Yes, I agree. I was speaking to Rob here actually, and he's also very, very passionate about this because not just like there are two components, as you said, not just the carbon cycle, but the hydrosphere, which will dramatically reduce temperature as well. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to do your walk around, or do you want to tell us?
Yes, I'm very happy to do my walk around. I'll just tell you the things I'll be walking past in case it gets too loud. Right now, I'm a little far from the pavilions, but on the way, we will see the different negotiation meeting rooms, and you'll also see the different media outlets. So the different press stand, they have their like fancy chairs and everything. And then I'll try and take you to some of the country pavilions. And then have you heard of the action agenda? It's the 6 thematic axes of COP30. There's a room for each one, and there's something going on at each. So I'll also try and show you that as well.
Great, really looking forward to it. So while you're starting your wander around, let's bring in Shailen to tell us a little bit about what's your take on COP30, apart from the fact that you're probably feeling gutted that you're not there after your last couple of years at COP.
You said it, Charles. So yes, 3 of the last 4 years I was there, and this is the section I'm most looking forward to because I used to do the roving camera, and here now we have our new leaders, Sienna and Muskan, who will lead the charge. I'm really proud, and I'm very also excited that both of them did internships with IHV, and they have been coached by Youth 2030, which trains the new leaders of the world. So I'm really excited and really proud for both of them. Yeah.
Well, certainly I've been really, really impressed, and if I were recruiting people, I'd take them both on just like that. Yeah. So Sharon, full congratulations to yourself for bringing them on board and keeping them on board and for all of this. And by the way, you got 11 out of 10 for your videography at the last COP. So
Thank you. You're very generous.
no, you did an amazing
I'll second
job.
that too.
Thank
You did an
you.
amazing job. But we've got to see if as far as for Sienna and Muscan, this will be their first time, so we'll give you a bit of leeway, okay? But we are expecting some great shots.
I'm with you on that. That for them, it's only the beginning. I feel they're just getting started.
So
we're getting to see huge halls,
Okay,
big
so
screens.
these are meeting rooms on the side. So this is the big one. Well, that plenary room, which is very rare, similar, very big size meeting. So there's a press conference room as well. And in these rooms, negotiations are happening open and closed. So they check your badge, and if you're party, they'll let you in. If you're actually observer and not party overflow, you get into more things, which is interesting, because they do actually want observers in the room most of the time. So that's kind of cool. Here are some of them.
well, there seems a lot of open space at the moment.
That's all quite funny. Yes, this is all open. None of this is meeting room. This is like the thoroughfare, like everyone is just walking through to get to different things. Yeah. All the meeting rooms are on the sides. So that's some of the media outlets. The media center, we're actually not allowed in because people will be asking the BBC to come and cover their event.
Wow.
So while Sienna's in transit, Gary, do you want to give us your thoughts on this? You've been with us for all of these meetings over the years.
And it just doesn't get boring. This is just as exciting. It feels like we're there. How many people do you think are there in attendance today?
Well, one of the accommodations is a cruise ship, and that has 5,000 rooms, and there are 10 different buses. So that was just a bus to one of the accommodations. So I don't know, there could be tens of thousands of people, to be honest.
And on a personal note, what do you think has been your highlight so far? For a young person to experience this is mind-boggling. So can you just share with us some of your highlights? When you go to bed, do you feel like you're in a surreal place? Because you're making a difference to the planet.
It really is crazy. Like I wake up and I'm like, wait, I'm in Brazil for COP30. And each moment, like I get hit by another wave of shock. So today, I don't know if you follow Bloomberg, but they have a podcast called Zero, and I've been listening to that like almost every week And the host of that, Akshat Rathi, he was there today at the meeting with Al Gore, and to see his face as well as hear his voice at the same time, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. I could not believe how this has happened and how I was in the room with these change makers.
Please don't forget how powerful you are. You are so powerful, and you're the future, and they should be bowing to you.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you.
Go with that energy. Look, we're seeing lots of things. How far are you away from the main part now?
So yeah, the funny thing is that a lot of some of the meetings are here, the pavilions are all at the other side, so people are literally running from one event to the other sometimes. I'd say I'm about 2 minutes away from the main pavilions. But here you can just see stands. There's a veg burger stand, there's a coffee stand, there's an ice cream stand.
Well, do you mind if I hand over to Shailen? I think he would do a better job of talking through this because he's experienced it. Shailen, over to you, sir. If you want to ask some questions, sir.
Sure. Thank you. Actually, I also want to appreciate that we organize these live webinars while our delegates are there at that conference, because the number of people who are allowed to attend or who get badges and access to it is limited every year. What media shows or publishes is there's a lot of propaganda in it. So this is our window to see what is actually happening, what conversations and negotiations and controversies or protests are happening, what are people saying really. And this is firsthand. This is our own team members who are sharing that information with us. So I think this is incredibly precious for those of us who are sitting overseas and seeing it through a camera or through a device, through these square boxes. At the same time, immersing into those meeting rooms, conferences, negotiations, and panels is huge for the growth of the individual, which is also one of the objectives of our organization. And we need to be in the room. It's not just about listening and learning, it is also about our own voice. It's these delegates, Sienna and Muskan. Sienna was so, I think, clever and privileged that she managed to secure a seat at the panel of the Commonwealth of Nations, the Secretariat, yesterday. We organized this VIP event. Muskan organized in July in London, in the IHV London Center. And when we invited these people, so one of those contacts connected us to the key person who was a panelist there. And she invited Sienna. So how, an event months ago is leading us to giving access to those kind of panels and talks. And she gets to express and share on the agenda and on the integrated agenda of what Muskan said earlier, mental health, climate resilience, and all of those things together. Because there are very few organizations who bring those agendas together.
Let's just talk a little bit about Al Gore. It's interesting that Al Gore was there. I don't know if you remember, but I mean, a lot of people, it's a long while ago now, but I think it was 2006. Al Gore came up with the film An Inconvenient Truth, which was a sort of documentary, which first thing put on the table to everybody. So anybody could buy his video, his DVD, and watch it. And I think a lot of people did. It created a lot of buzz. But at that time, there wasn't the follow-up. There wasn't the marketing, not Gary, what you do. There wasn't the marketing to sort of really make it all happen. So it's just one of those things that you looked at and you think, oh my goodness, this is bad. And then you went off and got a cup of coffee or something. You did something else. And that energy was lost. It wasn't converted into action. And that's what's so important for us. I mean, I'm putting on the table here, on the banner behind me, it's our world. It's a 2.6 degrees global warming world that we're heading into. So for everybody in our audience and watching it on replay, I've got to ask the question, is this actually what you want? Do you want this? Now, none of us here want this. I don't want this, right?
Yeah, Charles, I think you commented earlier about the rise in the ocean levels, as a result of that much heating. I'll comment about on it probably if I get an opportunity a bit later. But I think Sienna is now at the
Okay.
pavilion area. Sienna, if you're able to maybe talk us through which pavilion you're at, maybe go closer to the exhibits, talk about what you're seeing there. You are our eyes here.
Yes, of course. So this is the United Nations Climate Change Pavilion. There are different side events for each panel, and there are different. Sometimes they offer different things. So if we go in here, this one has a big meeting room. So yesterday there was one by China and G77 in here, and it's a great space for people to network and meet people with similar goals and similar interests. A lot of the important things do happen outside of the negotiation meetings. They actually have a formal name called huddles, and it's where past the formal setting of the dialogue, people can come together, like bounce off of the ideas that were made there rather than forget about it with a coffee and actually form partnerships and make action. So that's what I've been trying to do here at some of the panels. Like I went to the Africa one and I tried to look for scope for collaboration on projects. So yeah, and also a lot of them offer things like this one's doing Brazilian coffee. So you have a big line. This is from Turkey. So a lot of people are also here to experience the different things in Brazil. Yeah.
And what are they exhibiting in some of those pavilions? If you could show us, that'll be that
Take
might
you
be
to maybe I'll take you to the Brazil one. This one's China. Oh, we can show you the screen here. Okay. So they are giving feed over time of the global average electricity carbon emission factor, which is interesting. So we've got some nice graphs, and we need decisions based off of stats and data, which has been brought up in a lot of talks. So that's quite excellent. Here you can see a panel going on right now. This one is on emission reduction and ecological participants. So you have different ranges of audience. This one is quite big, and each of the pavilions are for like hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's great when you have an audience and everything worked out. Basically, again, more coffee, zero carbon coffee.
that looks like a huge pavilion in size.
This one is huge, and this one's doing well in some audiences as well. Some more things that they exhibit, basically their goals and their targets and what they've achieved. This is a bit better than the UK one. In the UK one, they focus on very small projects which are important, but they disregard a lot, like the NDCs and the bigger things that they should be showed. So they are doing okay, the people are sleeping overnight here. It's non-stop. I went to the India Pavilion yesterday and I asked them about it, and they were all just in a bad mood because they were just absolutely exhausted. Yeah. I'm looking into past the country pavilions now, and I'm going to try and find us one like the Global Renewable Alliance or maybe even the Health Pavilion to see what the non-country ones offer as well. And also, I think, oh my gosh, this is planetary science. This is where I think his name is Tim Mitchell, and he published the climate tipping point report. And Al Gore mentioned him today as well, and he was literally here the other day. Okay, this one's really exciting. So a lot of the pavilions show their supporters and who they collaborate with. You can see the different partners over here as well. And then I love this one. It's nice and wooden and like earthy, very connected to nature. Let's go through. What do they have? Yay, we have more data and graphs. We like this. Okay, cool. Different statements. Here we are. Interviews, reports, new statements. Wow, more coffee. Coffee is everywhere. Okay. And this is where a lot of the meetings and events happen. Look what else we have. Oh, this is very awesome. So this is concrete examples of what people have done to show that it's possible to make huge actions away from the climate solutions. So that's pretty excellent, inspiring other countries to follow suit, I guess. That's basic financial science for them. I'll see if I can get the health one, and then I'll show you the action agenda meeting rooms as well. Also, the fan, a lot of people here and bothered, and the Wi-Fi went out 2 days ago, so a lot of events were cancelled and people flew in and just had daily badges. So that has been a real shame. The organization here has not been commended very highly at all, which is not great. And there is, like, I spoke to someone about this, and a lot of people said that, oh, it's been set in Belém for the proximity to the Amazon rainforest. Obviously, after the indigenous protests the other day, I don't know, I feel like a real opportunity was missed. Collaboration, but instead everybody was evacuated instantly. Yes. Let's see if I can find. Oh, this is the solar hub. I was here the other day, and they told me that they think that it's supposed to be for them for political reasons, bringing in money to the city to please, like, this particular city, which is a very interesting thing. They're also doing chai at the back, because the International Solar Alliance is the first large international, like, organization of this scale to be headquartered in India, which is pretty cool.
The solar hub.
Yeah. The International Solar Alliance, and they have great masala chai as well. Yeah. That's a big thing. People are doing a lot of free things, free drinks, free merch to bring people into their event, because otherwise the audience can vary a lot.
Also, it's very long.
And obviously, schools are super expensive.
It's very long
very-
hours. It's very long hours and lots of walking. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So people prefer, if they've done a negotiation, to call it a day. So,
You might
Yeah.
touch 20,000 steps a day once you're there.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. And also, yesterday I went to one of the accommodations, and it was an hour away by one of the hot buses. So people are absolutely exhausted, but they're still here and they're still pushing for change, which is very commendable. And it's a statement to show the efforts, the global efforts to fight the climate crisis. I will now take you to the action agenda room.
Amazing.
Yes. If anyone has any updates from any articles or questions from the grounds, please do discuss while I take us
Okay.
there.
So, Muskan, would you like to tell us a bit more about this intersection of climate and mental health that you mentioned earlier?
Yes, I think this COP, we've really been, there has been an effort and there has been a change in narrative, if anything, where realizing that mental health, extreme poverty, conflict, climate, these are all interconnected problems and they deserve and require interconnected solutions. And something about mental health and, for example, the program, the YLTP program, youth leadership program that we do in Kenya, for example, we facilitate young youth from conflict environments, from high crime environments, from poverty-ridden environments, and provide them with the tools for leadership skills and provide them opportunities to be more self-sufficient. Such programs, they inevitably have an effect on someone's mental resilience and their ability to power through threats such as climate and everything else that we're seeing in the world right now. Actually, I think we're at the stage where we're at a tipping point, and more than just climate at the moment, with a lot of shifts happening and a lot of uncertainties for the youth. And to take on something like climate, to take on something like conflict, insecurity, we need tools to be able to work through with them. And those are the tools that IHV provides. When we look at Fly Greener in Madagascar, we are planting fruit trees, we are providing livelihood to families, and we are making a long-term commitment to families and their own livelihood, making them self-sufficient and essentially self-actualizing communities to sustain themselves. And that is what we mean when we say grassroots integration, grassroots efforts. It's work that's happening at the bottom and at the lowest level that is providing livelihoods for so much more than what policy right now is attempting to do. And I think all our programs, the intersections that they work through and the interconnectedness that they have, we work and abide by all the sustainable development goals of the UN, and it shows in our philosophy, it shows in our mission, it shows in what our programs are for. They're for the people and they're by the people, and that is what makes a good cohesive network for change.
Thank you. That's so amazing. Just to pick up on that, we've been planting trees now for 7 years. So when we first started planting trees, we chose the best tree planter we could, which we were very pleased with. The trees were a very good price, and the rest. But this project that we're supporting now in Madagascar is completely amazing. As soon as I saw it, I wanted us to be on board, because what they're doing, they're planting trees for carbon credits. So you don't buy a carbon credit, you remove you fly greener, that's what you get. But the carbon credits are used internally within the project to pay the cost of the project and to pay money to the people who are planting the trees to keep their trees alive. So what you're paying for your £20, we're doing a 2-for-1 match to make it really, really good for everybody. But actually what you're paying for, you're only paying for the cost of the sapling. Right, so the taking the sapling, putting it in the field, looking after it, all of that stuff, all that is done by these amazing people who plant the trees out and look after the trees for the 30 years. And what they get for doing that is they get the fruit. They get an amazing livelihood. They're taken out of extreme poverty. So just so people understand, it's a weird situation in Madagascar. People are poor, but they've got land, so they can't afford to do anything with the land. So by giving them the saplings for free, what our tree planting partner is doing is enabling these people to grow out of extreme poverty over the time it takes the trees to grow.
Well, what are these rooms, Sienna?
These are the action rooms. So I mentioned the action agenda. We're in the action agenda hub. So each room has a different theme, which is one of the key axes of COP30. For example, this one, Action Room 5, is fostering human and social development. This one hasn't currently got a meeting in there, but I'll show you the layout. I showed you one with a meeting. This is how they are. Yeah, and they have a schedule on each door, so media events a day. The thing at this COP is it was a little unorganized because nobody could find any of the pavilions, and each pavilion have different events. They are not published on the COP platform. So first you have to find the pavilion, then you have to separately look up the pavilion to find their side events. So it's been a little hectic trying to put schedules together for sure. And some things you have to just go with the flow of and meet people, they invite you to their events. So that's also kind of nice, just being open to everything.
You just passed the man that was sleeping, napping. Are you seeing a lot of that? People just not bothering going home?
Yes. Like I said earlier, some of the negotiators are actually sleeping here. And the food places shut at 8. So people are working tirelessly. And like I said, the heat is very real. There is not air conditioning and such. There's like kind of fans and then ventilation, but we're feeling basically almost the same heat as we would from outside.
You just passed a child. That's the first person I've seen under 18. A child. Is there? What's the average age there? Are you people watching?
I did not see the child. Oh my goodness! I have not seen the child yet. Oh my gosh! I feel like I'm in Pokemon. Where did the child go? No.
While you look, Sienna, I did have a question.
Yes.
I think I read this time that we have more youth engagement than we've ever had at any COP conference. And what does it look like to you? Do you really see more younger people at a conference than you would have expected, or is it still quite balanced? Is the power still with the older people, or is there still, is that, because I did see protests for youth participation essentially on the negotiation table. So tell us more about that.
Yes, I'm actually joining one of the low-key youth protests at 5. There's the Children and Youth Pavilion, which is excellent. It's like a space every morning and every evening. They do a debrief and to debrief on policy, because a lot of youth are following the negotiations and interviewing people. There's an organization called Youngo. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but it's the UNFCCC constituency, and they have a youth-led climate forum every day. I joined the one yesterday, and I had a seat at the table, and they are taking the input from these meetings and they're publishing them in their global youth statement, and they're trying to take it into negotiations. So people are lobbying for more youth interaction. The other day, I went to a youth meeting in the morning, and one of the UNFCCC secretariats were there, and she said that she's also been pushing for more youth badges and youth observer status badges, and for meetings to also let more observers in. So I would definitely say it's pleasantly high this year. However, when I do look around, as you can see, you still don't just see many youth here and there. In the specific youth pavilions and youth meetings, that's when I see them. But the general consensus are people, not too many youth are, like, it's nowhere near the same level as other people. Yeah.
Okay, so what's happening next? What's happening next, Sienna?
Now I'm just taking you to, so I'm just trying to emphasize how huge this venue is, and this is only the blue zone. Now there's another sort of, okay, this is basically an eatery. I'll just show you. So this is where people try and network, meet other people, we discuss the meetings they've just been in. Here is where a lot of the side event rooms are. So I was mentioning how not just the big official meetings, like negotiation meetings, but things run by different organizations on different topics are in here. And there are also some pavilions here. So I'll very quickly show you the main pavilion hall. These are not country pavilions. These are smaller organizations. So they also get stands, which are luckily cheaper. Okay, here we go.
Are those stands in the corridors? Makeshift.
So, I mean, it's one big kind of hall. And on the sides, in the corridor? No, I have not seen any. No, there are volunteer spaces, but unfortunately, no stands in the corridor, only in their designated spaces.
Muskan's getting a very good preview before she lands.
Oh yeah, this is like a trailer for you, Muskan.
Very excited.
So what kind of area is this now? This is the...
So yeah, this is where the smaller stands are, who don't have pavilions and such, but you can come and talk to contacts from them, and they have some impact staff.
Could you read some of their names from the...
Yes, absolutely. So let's have a look. Here's the Amazon Environmental Research Institute. That's a meaningful discussion in there. Here's the Ecology Center, which is cool. Oh, there was one which was linked to mental health, actually. Let me see if I can find it again. Have a look. Have a look.
It's okay, you can read us some of the names, whichever comes on your way.
Okay, cool. This
Just
is
curious.
the Society for Development and Community Empowerment. International Network for Bamboo. That's pretty awesome. This is the one. Is this the one? Yes, it is. This is the Buddha's Light International Association. And it's kind of similar with the link of mental health and climate. And just like the human values, doing good, which impacts the climate, which is pretty cool. And it links to indigenous knowledge, which is a quite good topic here, as you can imagine, in the Amazon. Today, they actually have a dialogue with the indigenous people in Belém, so I'm quite excited for that. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Did you want to
I think
can I just ask,
Yeah.
if you see, like that gentleman there, he's just sitting there, could you see if he will talk to us live?
I can see if I can get someone to talk to us live.
Yeah.
Let me see if somebody's, like, for example, these people don't.
Maybe
look
they
like
have a
they're in the
message
mood.
for the audience.
All right, let me see if I can find someone who looks like they're willing to talk. I can talk to that lady at the pavilion, at the Buddhist pavilion from earlier. Let's have a look. But the thing is, you might not be able to hear them because I've got my earphones on so that we don't hear the background noise. So I can try. Wait, if I take my earphones off, can you let
Can
me
I
know
just
if
give
you
you
can...
feedback? What a brilliant job you're doing, by the way. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, this lady does not look like she's ready to talk. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Who's ready? Who is ready to talk? This is the non-timber forest products. Okay, excellent. We love to see it. Oh, this is one of the side event rooms where, let's have a look what's going on today. Institute for Climate and Society, think tank, BirdLife International, things like this. They look like this. Looking for someone to talk to. Here is the Young Leaders in Energy and Sustainability. That's cool. We have t-shirts. Fun thing called this. Okay, everybody looks kind of focused. I don't know if we'll be able to find anyone. Maybe this person in the off.
Yeah, just pop the question.
This is the Brahma Kumari's environment initiative. This is
Wow.
interesting. Let me take my headphones off so that you can hear the other person and tell me if you can still hear. Okay. Can you still hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, what
Yes.
if I speak from kind of far like this? Can you
Yeah.
hear me? Okay, great.
Loud and clear.
I'll ask. Oh my god. Fun. Okay, that's kind of funny. He was actually ready to do an interview of his own. I don't know who's videoing him, but that's hilarious. Sorry, that was not. Wait, I can't hear you. Let me get you back.
It's okay if you find someone.
I've lost connection.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Martin, for joining us. Thank you, Martin.
That was an immersive experience, I tell you. That was amazing. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I can now hear you. Sorry, yes, I tried to interview him, but it turned out that he was literally on the brink of doing his speech, which was kind of funny.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry we could not find anybody to interview, but I hope you've got the main energy from today. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's just do some wrap ups. So, Sienna, do you want to wrap up and tell us what you're doing tomorrow?
And you didn't talk about what your view was on the demonstration. I was looking very much looking forward to your view on that.
I would love to talk about that actually. So I was in one of I was actually at the Children and Youth Pavilion. So I didn't see too much of the action in the moment, but we were all evacuated straight after. And then I hung around for a while because in the first hour, people were saying, oh my goodness, that was so violent. I can't believe there was an attack on the UN. People were overall confused and they were angry because they had meetings going on at that time and they were told to leave the conference. Then I hung around for longer. I spoke to more people and they were there, they were present, and they said they do not think that the indigenous community had any intention of being violent. All they wanted was for their voices to be listened to because they couldn't have access to badges. So the story has kind of been shown through different lenses. On the whole, my impression was that the indigenous people, we're here at COP in Belém because this is supposed to be the COP for the people, and the people, were ready to be listened to. Unfortunately, I don't think the COP presidency responded fast enough. I did meet someone who has an appointment with the president today to talk about this issue. And I guess now the dialogue with the indigenous people has come about from that. But I don't know if those are the indigenous people with badges or not. So it was very, very interesting. And I personally think very powerful and very moving. I'm really glad that they did do what they did and that they have now had their statement and it's gone through social media and the impact is there. So it was really, I can't believe I got to witness it while being here. The energy was fantastic. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sienna. Would you like to wrap up? Then we'll go around the table. So, Sienna, what else would you like to say?
I would like to say that this week has been a lot of ambition, a lot of drive. A lot of people are here to fight for, obviously, a cleaner and more just climate action initiative. Next week, the pressure will be on, the time pressure will be on. So Muskan, you'll probably see a lot more urgency, action and decisions. I cannot wait to hear your updates from that. And a highlight on mental health and climate change. I've had so many discussions on how important that is. And as Muskan said, how so many different problems are interconnected and interlinked. And we can't solve or attempt to solve one without looking at the others. So yeah, we're looking to
Amazing,
solve
thank you.
a lot. Yeah.
Thank you. So, Muskan, what's your take on this, please?
I think more than anything, I'm really looking forward to seeing how all of this pans out, where all the ambition leads us in the second week, and how realistic we are and how realistic COP is in achieving the goals that it has set out this week. As for the indigenous protests and their seat at the table, that is something that I will be tuning into and keeping track on. So you will have more updates in the next webinar that we have, and I will be showing you around and picking up where Sienna has left off. Sienna, you've done a wonderful job today and this entire week. It's such incredible and commendable work.
Thank you so much. So the next event will be the same time, 6:30 p.m. GMT on Wednesday the 19th, and that will be with Muskan, who will be in charge in Belém. Looking forward to speaking to you then. Thank you for that. Shailen, over to you.
I'd just like to congratulate Sienna for making all the efforts to be there, and Muskan's following soon. It takes a lot to get there and do everything and to show us. I'm also very impressed with how you are keeping a tab on what's happening, what negotiations, what agendas, what treaties, and your knowledge. So amazing. And as I said before, this is only the beginning. Yeah, keep it up. And you will be inspiring so many others.
Absolutely.
So many others.
Yeah. Great comment.
And amazing that Gary, you've been at the center of this, facilitating this, interviewing, and Charles, the consistency and commitment, commendable since 2021, Glasgow.
This is our fifth one. So Gary, big thank you to you for this, and your final words, please, Gary.
The hairs on the back of my neck are standing up. Shailen, you inspire me so much. You probably don't realise what an inspiring figure you are. Tuning in live from Brazil, this is amazing, because I want to see the needle move. I want to see implementation, and the press are more interested in the BBC and Trump, and this is what I want to know. So I'm very grateful to distribute this content for people that actually do care. It's humongous. What's come across very much so is the scale. We have no idea. We see a little entrance on the 9 o'clock news and nothing else. So I'm very grateful to you, Charles, for facilitating this and making this possible. I'm looking forward to next week. Sorry if I've taken too much time. I feel it's emotional there because you've got people that care about the planet. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Gary. Everyone, let me put it this way. Back in 2021, we thought there was amazing progress because Joe Biden, bless him, had made the decision that the US would make a real difference on climate change. So here we are now, only partway through Trump's presidency, and we've gone backwards. Trump has come out as a climate denier, and I've got to say that he's got to take a lot of responsibility for the mess that we're in on climate change. As you can see behind me, if we'd gone the Joe Biden way, we would not be saying we're heading for a 2.6-degree global warming. So I come back to our message. It's our world for all of those out there who are thinking, well, I don't want 2.6 degrees either. What do I do about it? Well, first of all, people can do what they feel inspired to do, and that's what all of us here have done. So Muscan and Sienna have been inspired just over the last year of working with us. They've been inspired to get themselves to go to Belém, find out what's going on. Gary's been inspired to do this, and so helpful, Gary, in promoting our message. And you're always coming up with people for us to talk to and do things. And Shaylin, with the contribution that you've made through leadership of IHV to make all of this happen. But what I would say to people is, look, it's up to you. You know, what surprisingly I've been able to do is by taking the lead here, by saying, look, I want to plant trees. I feel really pleased that I've inspired people to plant 1.8 million trees. Those trees at today's prices are worth more than people donated. That trees are probably worth $1.8 million worth of trees we've planted as a team. That's ourselves working with IHV together. We've got this new amazing name, Fly Greener. All you've got to do is to get some trees and you are flying greener. And the impact is amazing. So if you know what you want to do, anybody out there, if you know what you want to do, then do it. You do what you're inspired to do. Form your own team, do your own thing, and then you can go out there and you can do more than $1.8 million worth of achievement. You can do that. These days, it's not that difficult for folks to do that, as we're hearing about all the time. If you don't know what to do, then please work with us. Look at what IHV are doing, look at what we're doing with Fly Greener, and please do remove the emissions from your last flight and your next flight. We're still into the autumn. A lot of people have made flights on aircraft for holidays and whatever during the year. Please look at removing those flights. You don't need to remove just the CO2 from your current flights. You can remove CO2 for previous flights and flights that you made last year and the year before and all of your family. So thank you ever so much to everybody for listening to us. And such an amazing thank you to our presenters. Thank you so much. Without you, Sienna and Muskan, this would not be happening. So many thanks to you. And thank you to my great friend Eddie, who's here on the webinar. Just before we close, Eddie, would you like to have a word?
Well, thank you very much for the introduction, and I've enjoyed it a great deal. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Same time, the Wednesday, the 19th, we're going to have another amazing update about what's going on. We're going to find out where the negotiations are going, how much more has happened, and how much more impactful everything has been. So look forward to talking to you then, Muskan. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sienna.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Sienna. Thanks, all.
Thank you. Bye.
That's the end of the broadcast. If you've watched this and you've enjoyed it, please share it with another. Put it under somebody's nose. Tell someone about it, and we'll see you next week. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're
That
brilliant.
was excellent.
You're
That was fun.
brilliant.
No, thank
You're
you.
the
Thank you so
superstar.
much.
Good night.
Good night.